Happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of the HyperScheme. Today we're talking about Tesla's version 9 FSD software, the full self-driving beta test that, 2,000 people are on, the update that went out last weekend, stayed up till midnight to make that video, and have just been driving around testing Tesla's new software all around Seattle, playing with it all week. Have so many thoughts that I just want to make a whole episode sort of dedicated, and I'll get to Patreon Q&A as well at the end, but just dedicated to, what do I think about this after playing with it, after being a Tesla owner, and just to give a little bit of context on what's going on here, just to overview the situation. Tesla's full self-driving beta software is essentially, the company's vision is to make cars autonomous that can drive themselves, not just by knowing the road and knowing what's happening, but literally you could put them on any road where they've never been before and they could drive. This is one of the most ambitious artificial intelligence projects in the world to commercialize real-world AI applications. Tesla's built a state-of-the-art, first of all, chip team to design this chip that uses an extremely low amount of power to be able to power this entire, crazy AI supercomputer system, which is running and making decisions in the car. And so luckily, they've rolled out this full self-driving beta software where basically you can go, up until this point, autopilot. It only works on the highway. Like, Tesla's amazing on the highway. I've driven from Seattle to Los Angeles and back, and Seattle. I think I did that twice. In my Tesla, I've done so many road trips. I hated road trips, but now I love road trips because I'm on autopilot. It's on the highway. I literally use it like 95% of the miles for those trips, and it works flawlessly. But now Tesla's expanding that functionality to city streets, and that's what this FSD beta program is. Not just working, the car can drive itself on the highway, but literally anywhere. This is a much more ambitious stage of the project, and I've actually been realizing how quirky and different little streets are, especially when it comes to city in Seattle, or a city like Seattle, and just thinking about how Tesla's going to be able to solve this challenge. But that is what we're dealing with here. Like, this most ambitious AI project in the world getting pushed down to city streets, and these 2,000 beta testers, which I'm so lucky and thankful to be a part of, are testing it. And so that is what's the status quo now. And up until this point, Tesla's system has relied on a combination of radar and cameras to tell the car what to do in these situations. We drive with R2 cameras, which are distracted most of the time. The Tesla has 8 cameras around it, essentially 8 robot eyes that are seeing, perfectly with unobstructed views outside of the car and informing the car where it is in its surroundings. And additionally, it used to have radar as well. And then the radar signals were conflicting. Elon and the team have decided that radar was sort of a crutch and that they wanted to move to what's called pure vision. So this was the first update that was months in the making, where Tesla dropped the radar and moved to pure vision. So as much as this is called FSD version 9, I think it's just as much FSD version or Tesla Vision version 1 is really how I would think about this. And so that's the context. So last week, I get the update at midnight. I mean, this is just like, I can't even describe the excitement was so palpable. Like, I don't stay up for what tech product software update am I staying up till midnight for, right? This is ridiculous. Like, I don't even know. But so that I can't, I literally felt like I was 7 years old on Christmas Eve, and I couldn't sleep for like 3 days leading up to this. I hit up Devin, who helps me make these videos. He's amazing. Shout out to Devin. And he's like, bro, I'm so stoked. I'm going to come over. I'm about to go to work. He has like a job. He's like, I'm about to go to work. I'm about to take a nap. Then I'm about to come over, and we're going to be scheming on how to shoot this video. And then at midnight, we're going to go in your car, and we're going to I was like, I don't know. We just had so much fun. And just the fact that Elon and the team create this excitement, and literally, I was like, Elon is sending us the future tonight. That's what it felt like. Like, Elon literally is just pulling us into the future, one software update at a time, or I guess pushing it. But, and literally Elon was early. Not everyone says Elon misses deadlines, and I saw his quote on Twitter. He misses loose deadlines but nails exact deadlines. And so he was like, it's going to drop at midnight on Friday. First of all, it's like, damn, like at midnight on a Friday, like, damn, like, I guess I'm not partying tonight, right? Like, I'm joking, but kind of not though. We had to be working. I was like, damn, okay. So we wait for the software update to come out. Feels like Christmas. Like, I'm trying to convey this because this to me is the je ne sais quoi of Tesla. This is what people don't understand. Like, you're going to read so many headlines in the media about, FSD messing up, Tesla doing this wrong. Like, but when you're a customer and you're on the other side, like, nothing else matters. It's just Tesla's relationship with their customers. That is the product. That is the company. And there's just such a magical feeling about FSD and the software updates and being a part of the beta testers that makes me just so excited. And I think you should all be excited too if you have a Tesla with FSD, even if you're not in the beta, because it's coming soon and they're trying to get this as close as possible. So you're going to have this feeling too. And I just feel the honor to be a part of this history. And I think one of the secret sauce of how Tesla, which I think is light years ahead of anybody else in the full self-driving race, not even a question. And I actually feel very I haven't driven other cutting edge AI solutions, but I'm on the FSD beta program. I'm watching it get better. I'm seeing just how incredible this technology is. I mean, this is, what it boils down to is essentially the edge case problem. Can we solve all these weird edge cases that the cars run into? Because that's the difference. You know, it's the March of nines. Yeah, it's great to have it 99% perfect, but we need it 99.999999999% perfect. And they need to drive billions of miles through all these edge cases. So Tesla's autopilot software is already running with billions of miles of data, collecting all this data. Now the FSD beta tester is sort of another level of data collection where they roll this out, and these 2,000 beta testers are just driving it, putting it through all these crazy edge cases with this sort of constant flow of data from Tesla back and forth. You know, there's even a button on the screen where you can report, you know, FSD was doing something weird here. Let's report it and send it. And so this crazy iterative feedback, it's like Tesla literally has like 2,000 people that are like, and it's just like, so I don't know. I think no other company could pull this off because we love Tesla. We want to help Tesla. We love this mission. And it feels honored to be a part of it. And I think this is, from a business perspective, this is the secret sauce of why Tesla will tackle the edge cases. You need 2,000 people willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, willing to help the system, willing to coach it, willing to train it. And that's what the FSD beta group is. And I think it's so beautiful to watch this happen. And so anyway, I'm getting totally sidetracked, but Tesla rolls out this FSD beta, and man, this is, okay, I'm just going to say the bad part first, pros and cons, because it's what like, I'm just like, and so many people, I got my video that I posted, or that we posted, like Business Insider's writing about it. Consumer Reports is emailing me like, we want to show, you know, how dangerous Tesla FSD is. Do you mind if we use your video? And I'm like, no, don't use it. Like, fuck no. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you suck. Like, you know, like Tesla's trying to solve the biggest public health crisis that we have in the US. If you're my age, number one way you're going to die is on the roads. Extremely unsafe. Building an AI to make, and if you just, I think it's going to be insane that we let people drive. Like, we're going to look back on it and just be like, what the fuck were we thinking? Letting distracted humans drive. And there was just chaos everywhere, causing massive distress to the healthcare system, to grieving families. Like, it's just, I think one of the biggest things that I believe that nobody else believes is that it's just ridiculous the way the transportation system works. And it's so dangerous. And I think Tesla should be getting so many props for being the only company in the world trying to really push forward and be so bold and ambitious to push forward this technology to solve this challenge. That's disingenuous journalism. You're not a journalist. You are selling clicks. You're an advertising salesman. That is what I think Business Insider is. All those things. Consumer Reports, they're whack. They suck. Okay, maybe not Consumer Reports, but like Josh Wolf on Twitter. I hate that guy. He's literally been shitting on Tesla since day one, like calling me, like, I don't follow this dude. I don't know who this dude is. I don't care about this guy. He's like some big time VC, right? Like, why is he all up in my Twitter for years telling me how much of a joke I am, telling how lame I am? Like, it's not even worth it for me to find the tweets, but like literally was bullied online by this multi-millionaire VC, and Tesla stock has gone up 20x since that happens. And then I still see him on Twitter pulling a clip out of my video. First of all, they don't link to my YouTube video. They rip it, put it on Twitter so I don't get any of the views or advertising money from it, and then make a whole Twitter thread about it and be like, look at Gally, even he says it's not dope. So first of all, I want to give a big like F you to those people, because you are on the wrong side of history and you're just trying to, like, you know, milk some fame off of this moment and make Tesla look bad because you're salty that, you know, your life sucks. I don't know. I'm getting negative vibes, PVO, positive vibes only. Okay. But you know what I mean? I'm just really frustrated with the media the media is not the media. Like, the media isn't telling you the truth. They're not great journalists. That era is over. They're desperate advertising salesmen whose business models are failing because they don't say the truth and because nobody actually gives a shit about what they say. And that's why they're getting more and more desperate to try and call out companies like Tesla, who actually are doing amazing things in the world. And they know that, you know, this is going to like pinpoint this human emotion of, like, you know, oh, like if Tesla's failing and Tesla's messing up and doing something crazy and dangerous, that'll get us clicks. So let's do it. So that is the incentive system that is causing massive misreporting in the space. I think the biggest risk to so many companies commercializing bold, ambitious new technology is the failure of the journalistic complex to accurately tell us what's going on. I think we should be covering this project that Tesla's doing in an amazing way to improve the simulation from a public health perspective, from an efficiency perspective, from a traffic solving perspective. Like, these are all such huge problems that affect all of our lives every single day that Tesla's taking on the risk to try and solve. So give them some credit about that. And like, I just think none of the journalists are doing it. So with that all said, like, you know, I'm keeping it real with y'all. Like, I thought FSD version 9 was going to be a little bit better than what it was, mostly because Elon said it was going to be a huge improvement. And it wasn't a huge improvement. It was an improvement. But I think that's very important, because on the back end of the technology, we moved to version 1 of Tesla Vision, not just, you know, the new version. So when you take into account that we drop radar, move to this new vision system, pushed out this update, it's performing better. I mean, this is absolutely a huge win for Tesla. This is the progress that we want to see on FSD. This is them moving in the right direction. This is them showing us that they are leading the charge to commercialize an autonomous vehicle and unlock that multi-trillion-dollar robotaxi thesis. And so that is all intact. That is all happening. That's the real story. And so, even though it's not perfect. So I would say now I'm disengaging like before in the version 8.2 or 3, I disengaged like, I want to say twice to 3 times every 30 minutes of like what I would call like extreme urban driving. Like Seattle is insane. Like the streets here are out of control. Like, okay, so the monorail, so now I would say the new version of FSD version 9 is about 1 to 2 interventions every 30 minutes. So I'd say like, and I'm calling these real interventions because maybe if you watch my videos, you'll be like, golly, there's more interventions than that. First of all, I speed it way up so you're not seeing the good parts. I'm going to do a new video where I just literally show you the whole drive unedited so you can see all the amazing stuff it does, because sometimes I fast forward through that too much and I feel like people don't appreciate it. But so there's definitely been a decrease in interventions, and I would say much bigger than that, because that's just being really loosely anecdotally thinking about that, is that I personally am using FSD 9 more. So for FSD version 8.2, like I didn't use it. Like I use it to make videos and like to try it as like a science nerd, right? But I didn't use it because it was dope and it was made like, it's like, it was slow. Like I was like, damn, like I'm trying to get somewhere. Like I'm not trying to like, you know, babysit this shit. Like, but right. So, but now with version 9, like I actually was using it the other day. Like I was driving to go do the Plaid Model S thing, which I'm about to do. I can't even, I'm like, man, I just recorded my Plaid Model S review, but it's Saturday, but I record this and I'm going to post this on Sunday because we got to be scheming every Sunday, right? HyperScheme. And then I'm going to do the Plaid video tomorrow. It's killing me. I have so much, like, I want to just get the Plaid video out because it was so fun. And I have so many crazy thoughts about that. But anyway, so I drove on FSD to the Plaid and I was actually using it. And I wasn't making a video, and I've done that a couple times. And I found myself using it where I'm like, okay, the lane markings are great. This is a big arterial. Like you can just, once you spend time with the software, you can feel where it's going to crush it. And you're like, I feel good about deploying it here. And then I'll just take over. I'll be like, all right, this is some weird wonky stuff. Like I know it's going to go slow. It'll probably be fine, but I'm just going to take over and do it. And so even if it's not fully autonomous, it's providing a huge value to me as a driver. And this is a huge misconception that like Business Insider, they'll use my video, but they're not going to call me to ask me what I think. Like, how disingenuous is this? Like, all these media outlets are going to be like, look at, you know, he's beefing with it. But it's like, bro, like, I love FSD and I say it makes my car experience better. And I think once you have this, you can't go back. Like, look at, this is the biggest misunderstanding of Tesla, is that not only is there incremental margin realization in terms of profit as we scale into full self-driving, they'll keep raising the price. They just rolled out the FSD subscription. This is all going to lead to incremental margin improvements along the way before we get to FSD. There's also incremental customer like satisfaction improvements along the way as those updates happen. And so there's a huge flaw in the understanding that FSD is worth zero value if it can't totally drive itself. That's total bullshit. Even where it is now is already providing me a lot of value when I know how to use it. It's like having a chauffeur who's not perfect, but I know when he's going to crush it, so I can just tap in my chauffeur when I want. That's dope. And so, you know, I'm like, I don't whip, I get chauffeured. Like, I love that. Like, that's the new, anyway. So love, and man, I just think it's mind-boggling to see, like, and it's crazy because it's made me realize, like, I suck at driving, right? Like, half the routes the FSD takes, like, up this hill and did like a double black diamond left turn, and like I would have never gone that way in Capitol Hill to get to my homie's house because it's just like too like complicated, stressful street, but FSD did it and nailed it. And so it's been interesting to see how the GPS, especially in a city like Seattle, puts the car in situations that are really hard that even a human wouldn't be able to do. Like the infamous monorail test, which I love. Like I'm hyped that this is becoming like a viral thing because I thought about the monorail test more and more. So what happens on the monorail test is you take a right? And then like 5 blocks later, I need to take a left. But the problem is there's this big monorail thing in the middle, right? And so it's actually, I've been thinking this more and more. As a human, I would have never been able to make this turn, and maybe I could have, but not legally, because you either have a double marked line that you can't pass, or you have an intersection. It's illegal to swoop and change lanes in an intersection. So you either have to cross a double white line, which the Tesla was trying to do, or change lanes in an intersection. Both of those are illegal. The only way you would have actually been able to do that route that the GPS wanted you to is, ironically, what Julian with Jay Filch, he was in the car with me, he was telling me, like,
so if it was smart, it would go all the way around.
I thought he was being so annoying. He's like, bro, if you're going to make this turn, it's got to go all the way into the left lane when you make that first right, going around that pillar, not in front of the pillar. Because when you go around the pillar, then the next left's easier. But that to me is almost illegal, or like it's just really counterintuitive that you would even make that, because it just seems like you just would take this right. So my point being there is the GPS almost set it up for failure. And so, I don't know. I will say there's been like a recalibration in my theories about when self-driving cars are coming. Like I thought there was a 30% chance that Tesla would solve full autonomy within 6 months to a year. Like I was like, damn, like they might actually do it, like rapid accelerated improvements. Now I'd say there's like a 5% chance they do it in a year to 6 months. And like my sort of probability weighted date of when the robotaxis will occur went from late 2022 to like late 2023. I think there's been a little bit of a recalibration of expectations, just not because of like Tesla's technology roadmap not going the way they want, but because I just think this problem is really hard. And I just think like the ability for humans, when we don't know what to do something safe that is totally counterintuitive for the GPS to do, is like the biggest hurdle. I don't know if that makes sense, but like the Tesla, I wish it would just like give up. Like, in the monorail test, instead of like kind of giving up and just going straight, which is what I would have done, or just going really slow down. I mean, like, yo, galley, take over. I can't do it. Like, I wish that was a feature. It just took like a right up a one way, or tried to. And so it's like, but it must have known that wasn't the right move. So but it's just weird. It's like the GPS is going to put these autonomous cars in these weird situations. So, I don't know. I just feel like this is such a hard problem to tackle. This has made me even more convinced that nobody is even close. Like I've said this for years, that I think nobody is solving the self-driving challenge except Tesla. There's like, who's winning this race? Like there's no race. It's just literally Tesla is the only company who has a remotely viable strategy to solve this. And although they say it's inevitable and they're going to be able to pull it off and solve self-driving, like I even think deep down in my core, there's like a 70% chance they solve it. There's a 30% chance they just can't figure it out by the end of the decade. Like I genuinely think there's a 30% chance they can't figure it out by the end of the decade. Like, I don't know. Cause I just think it's hard, and like, maybe not 30, but like, and I think there's an 80% chance that everyone out, that nobody else figures it out, like excluding Tesla, actually maybe 90% that anybody figures it out before 2030. Like, I don't think this is an easy problem. So, long story short, like FSD V9 got better, but I'm still recalibrating my expectations and ready to be proven wrong. Like when you're in my investing brain, I love to be cautious. And this is why I've been beefing with people who talk to me about the ARC model. Like, Gally, look at what ARC says about this being worth $8 trillion. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. But like, let's get the Tesla network off the ground and let me get an autonomous ride once and pay Tesla for it before we get excited this is going to make trillions. Like, let's make $10 before we make $1 trillion, dog. Like, so that's why I think it's when you're going to be an investor, valuing and discounting the cash flow of something this ambitious as a robotaxi initiative and putting that trillions in your price target, like, I don't know. I don't fuck with that, honestly. Like, okay, I gotta tone down the swear words. I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to be unfiltered. Like, I'm just having fun, right? So I would say, and I love ARC, honestly. I think they're so awesome, and I think they're like so forward thinking and like thought leaders and amazing. But I want to like instill my own philosophy, which is different. We can have different vibes, and my own philosophy is like super conservative. Like I'm so aggressive with my schemes and my vision and the potentials of the company I invest in, but super conservative when it comes to the mathematical models of how I, calculate those technological breakthroughs into revenue and financials in the valuation. Because you gotta be, because everything takes twice as long, costs twice as much if you're doing startups. And I would say if you're doing something like AI, ambitious commercializing technology, it's gonna be 10 times as long and 10 times as much cost. So I value Tesla based on this purely electric vehicle thesis and changing the grid. I think those are still the near-term focuses of the financial excitement. I'm putting very little weight on the financial success of the robotaxi in my valuation of Tesla. But that being said, like I'm holding on to all my stock. I think they're going to change the world. And I still think this is a lotto ticket that takes the CAGR from 25% or 20% in the next decade to, 50% or 30%. Or 40%, equity price CAGR in the next decade if they solve that. So looking ahead, it's all about the rate of improvement. And, Andre Karpathy, companies are just people. This guy is incredible. I think what he's like, it's insane how Tesla and Elon Musk, like, it's like a company, but it's also like a company that's using like the smartest sort of academics in the world to push forward these bold, ambitious science, initiatives like Neuralink. When Neuralink is going to change the world because of its technology and, improve our lives just as much as it will push science forward and push our understanding of the brain forward. And I think there's so much, there's so many like crazy parallels to what Tesla's doing with self-driving in that way. And then just how we're going to learn about what driving is, about how the brain works, because I think this is such a real world example of not how the brain works from the inside, but how the brain works from the outside. And this thing called driving that we all take for granted that all humans do, it's just so fascinating to watch Tesla try and do this AI version of that. And so now it's all about the rate of improvement. Now that they have pure vision and Elon and the team say that this is the roadmap to get to FSD, can we see this exponential improvements? This is what Elon keeps promising. And it sounds like the next cadence is about in a month, we'll get V10, in a month, we'll get V, and then a month after that, V11, and it'll keep improving and keep steadily widening the beta. And we're going to keep seeing this sort of incremental step forward progress. But the question is, how fast is it? How fast those interventions go down? How many marches of nines are we doing? What is the data that Tesla's going to start putting out to convince regulators that these are safer? Like, I have so many questions here, and I think it's so sort of up in the air at the rate of innovation of this technology. And I think the bottom line is it's because it's so new, and even Tesla doesn't know the pace of innovation of this technology. What's crazy is when they solve this is what blows my mind. Like I invest in technologies, right? Like technologies, and this is, I guess now I'm like kind of agreeing with Arc, but like invest in technologies, not financials. And so the technology that Tesla's building is the way that robots can perceive the world. Our eyes are so powerful because I'm looking at the camera, looking at my room, like I'm perceiving where I am in time and space and what's happening around me. And there's so much data, and this is influencing so much of my brain. So robots, if we're going to have these Boston Dynamics robots walking around, if we're going to have Ex Machina, and you want to know some really weird twisted thing? Why do we need humanoid robots? What is the first use case of this? I almost feel bad saying this because I don't want this future, but when just my like investor in me says this is what the robot future will be, is where robots, personal security. I think personal security in an era where you have this like increasing wealth gap, you have these crypto gazillionaires. I think one of the reasons to adopt these humanoid armed robots would be personal security. You want to be secure and walk around, and there's so many liabilities if you have a human bodyguard or security guard that I think people will want robotic ones, and I think that'll be the first use case of having Ex Machina robots walk around. And so whatever, that's fucked up, and the way those robots will perceive the world will be a vision-based system. They'll have eyes everywhere in their head, little cameras. And this is the technology that Tesla's developing. And this is why the mind, okay, this is another part I got to talk about. The mind of car view. Like, this is so fascinating. This is the part of FSD I nerd out about, like what I see on the screen, because that's what the car's brain sees. And this is what how Tesla's communicating to me what my confidence in what the car sees, because I can understand what it's seeing. So, for me to be comfortable and trust, it's all about trust. For me to trust this car to drive itself, I have to trust that it knows what the hell it's doing and what the hell's happening around it. And so for that trust to be built, I need to see what its brain is thinking, and that is the visualization. So to me, the crux, and I can't believe I'm waiting until this. This to me was the dopest part of the whole update. And why I'm really hyped is the visualization progress. This new theory was super, I don't want to say ghetto, but it kind of was before. Like, it was just like all these dots. It was wonky. Now it's smoother. Now there's a fuzziness. Now it's showing confidence by the fuzziness of the system. And that is a really, really, like, this to me is really cutting edge shit about how do we signal to humans an AI system's level of confidence in a certain decision. And that's what Tesla's doing. And this is a really crazy test of it, because this is real time. Like, we're driving, decisions are being made every split second on how to maneuver this vehicle. And I need to be constantly understanding. There needs to be, we need a Neuralink almost level data flow between me and the car. Anyway, so the visualization that Tesla's made is a huge improvement, a huge update, and I think is just as a tech nerd so fascinating, because this is what the mind of the Ex Machina robots will see. This is the vision-based problem, and I think when you think about Tesla as an investment perspective, yes, as much as I discount this FSD and I'm not going to price it into my, financial model right now because I'm conservative AF, I'm also using my moonshot brain to say this is technology they're developing that even if they solve this multi-trillion-dollar robotaxi thesis, that's not even the end game. The end game is commercializing it and selling out to different robots or building your own humanoid robots based on this vision system. And so that is an even bigger market than self-driving cars potentially. So when you think about the technologies that, self-driving cars, like going to Mars is a savage forcing function function for innovation. Self-driving cars are a savage forcing function for innovation as well in the robotics and AI space. Tesla's going to be a robotics and AI company in the future. That's what Elon's scheming on. And this is a huge technology they're developing as a piece of that. Then you have Dojo, the supercomputer. And Andrei Karpathy was just scheming on, like, he just dropped in some new talk, like, we have the 5th dopest supercomputer in the world. Look at all these crazy stats, gigaflops. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I don't know anything about that. I'm not going to try to, but I know that Tesla, to process all of this data and to train its AI, is developing technology as well. So it's not even once they finish the AI, it's going to have value, but their technology of training AI systems also has value. So I'm unlocking 2 savage multi-trillion-dollar business models in this FSD stack, which is Tesla Vision, aka Robot Vision. That's going to be huge. And then Dojo, which is Tesla AI training. So Tesla AI training, I mean, this to me is the crux of every AI problem, is how do you efficiently train it and auto label it and automate that training process? Oh man, I'm like getting excited because I have a couple startup investments who I know could use this technology, right? So when you think about computation as the backbone of humanity's value creation in the future, like the digital side of our economy is everything. It's the metaverse. That's where everything's headed. How do you compute on the metaverse? The speed at which you process things on the metaverse is currency almost. Like what is Ethereum? To me, Ethereum is one of the most valuable assets in the world right now and is booming in popularity. What do you spend when you get it? Computing power. What is Ethereum backed by? Computing power in this decentralized network. So to me, that just shows the value of, in our future digitized economy, the ability to compute, like Amazon and AWS is sort of this base layer of computing power. But now to me, Tesla Dojo is like the next thing after that. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I read that once. And so my point is, man, there is some, like, this is why Tesla to me is just so fascinating. Even though I said Tesla was boring in my last video as an investment because of, like, it's not going to have a gazillion X upside, but it kind of might. Like, just the way, the excitement, and this is why Elon Musk matters. This is why the leadership matters, because he is not stopping. This is not, like, you think their product pipeline is stacked with Cybertruck, semi-truck. There's an arc beyond that of, you know, all the EVs, the autonomous EVs, the energy products, the HVAC, the home solar, the Tesla Vision, the Dojo AI, and these next arcs that will financially hit a decade from now. Seeds are being planted today by Andrei Karpathy and Pete Bannon and this FSD program, and so that is another thing I'm keeping in mind when analyzing all of this. And man, okay, and the other thing I gotta say about this is, like, man, the ability for Tesla to push out these software updates and have this iterative feedback loop process is just so magical. Like, there's something about the car that my Tesla feels alive, unlike another car, like in this weird way. And the way it gets the software updates is just crazy. So I don't know, that was kind of a side tangent, but I think Tesla's ability to seamlessly deploy software seems like a no-brainer, but is actually a huge advantage that other car companies are not going to be able to pull off. And so that's it. Tesla Vision is a game changer. I cannot wait to see the updates. This is going to be epic. The high level takeaway here is buttery smooth, a lot smoother in certain situations, still needs work in other situations. Overall is a big improvement. The visualization, I would say, is a much bigger improvement than even the performance of the vehicle. And when you take into account they backed out the radar, I think this is a win. This is A+. I wouldn't say A+. I would say A- release for FSD. The only reason you don't get A+ is because Elon hyped it up on Twitter. Manage expectations, dog. Like, you know, this is the only like real beef I've ever had with Tesla was when we were doing all the deliveries back in like 2017, 2018. And I'm like, damn, Elon, like, why do we got to put that 5,000 a week target out there and then miss it? And then Wall Street and these journalists, aka advertising salesmen, are going to grill us for this. And it's like, bro, like, we gave them something to grill us for. Like, let's not manage expectations, I think is super important. So, but I also love Elon that he's just himself and he's honest and he just is like a nerd about this. And he's like, I'm so hyped because this is a huge improvement. I'm about to tell everybody. And maybe he was low-key, I think he might have been testing it in LA where FSD beta version 9 shines versus like these quirky, weird Seattle roads that have no markings. That's another weird theory I have. But I think going forward, managing expectations a little more maybe wouldn't hurt, but maybe that's just, I'm just making this up. It's all in my head. So that is what it is. And I don't know. I guess I would say to all the people is like, I think you just got to try this FSD technology. Like, it's so, I can't reiterate enough how frustrating it is to see in the media coverage. It's like, just try it. Every person I've given a ride to, every person I showed this technology to, it blows their mind. Like, there's not many things that you show people and they like lose their shit and they're like, oh my God, it's like, and it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter, anything about you. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is the future. Like, this is insane. And so, it's just an amazing part of history to be a part of, and I love it. So anyway, that's Tesla FSD. Loving it. I hope y'all got the update. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, what kind of videos should I make on FSD? Like, what do you want to know about it? Like let everything. I want to, yeah. So now I'm going to get to Patreon questions, and I will say that I'm going to probably raise the price on Patreon because I've got too many Patreon questions, and I've switched the newsletter cadence to once a week to twice a week, and that was a big thought I had because I want to do the HyperScheme. I love writing. I wrote my book. I have another book in the works. Honestly, I got so many projects going on that I'm like kind of like exploding. Like I have too much, my capacity has been hit. But and that's another reason why I've been like thinking through the HyperScheme. I was like, yo, like I want to like scheme with y'all on video content. Like that's why you support me on Patreon, because you like my content. Like the newsletter is dope, but that's just a side hustle. And I feel like I was forcing the newsletter every week. And to me, it comes naturally once every 2 weeks. I can go a little deeper. I have stuff I thought about, and I want to switch it up where the newsletter is every 2 weeks. But now I got this new present for y'all every week, which is the HyperScheme on Sunday, which is what you're watching now. And Patreons will be able to contribute and ask me questions that I'll answer, which I'm about to do right now. And I just feel like that's so fun. Okay, so David Dales, this guy's killing it. I mean, he asked me so many questions here. Okay, have you thought about doing research into the hyperchange into the CRISPR space? So gene editing, this is a question I get a lot about people. Gene editing has the potential to change everything. Like, okay, we understand nothing about like we're just basically code, right? ATCG, all this genetic letters makes up our DNA, which is like the code in our body that programs everything. But we didn't understand this DNA. And so now there's this crazy revolution of where we're going to understand the code in our own bodies, and we're going to look at diseases totally differently. Like the way we fight cancer right now is like, okay, you have cancer, we're going to blast you with chemo. And like, it's this super barbaric technology to basically kill everything and then like kill the cancer, but like not quite kill you. And then you'll come back to life, but the cancer will be dead. But then it always comes back. Like it's a really brutal, sort of barbaric system. And it's because we're lumping different cancers together by type because we can't understand their genetic profile. And so I think the ability to understand our own genome is going to unlock this new era. And this, my mom, shout out to her, she does next generation sort of cancer treatment. And so that's why I kind of know about this. But her whole thing is like, let's take your tumor, let's test it, let's figure out the DNA of your tumor, figure out which genetic markers are going on here, and treat it based on the genetic profile of that cancer, not just lump it into this group and blast it with chemo. So that's a microcosm for this entire revolution of understanding the human genome, which will change how we treat all diseases and has huge potential. And I was actually just talking to this guy from Beam Therapeutics, so shout out to him, this huge company that Arc's an investor in. Of course, they're claiming they got a way that's doper than everybody else to do gene editing. I don't fucking know. That's kind of the crux of this answer is I stay in my lane. Like, I think that's why my returns are savage, because I'm so like just stubborn and disciplined. If I don't know what's happening, I'm not going to touch it. And even though my parents are scientists and they do this stuff, I still will stay away from a 10-foot pole from gene editing, because I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert in this and I'm going to be able to figure out which CRISPR technology is better. Like, I just don't know. I haven't been to medical school. And so while I see huge potential in the CRISPR space, in the gene editing space, it will cause massive advances for humanity and treat so many diseases and help us in so many ways. I love that. And I think that's really inspiring and beautiful, and just it's hyper changing a lot. And it's like giving me FOMO to not cover this space more. But I'm at bandwidth, but my specialty is consumer. Like, I have to stay in my lane and do the stuff that I'm a customer of. Right now, I'm not a customer of any genetic company, so I'd be breaking like 8 of my investment rules if I did that. And a lot of these companies like Beam Therapeutics, like, it's dope, this amazing technology, but it's like they required so much capital to get there. The VCs own the company. You don't have a savage owner, operator, founder who controls the bulk of the company, is controlling the vision. I feel like these suits are controlling the vision. I don't like that. So, but that's just kind of the way biotech is. So I'm not comfortable with biotech enough to make content about it. I only want to talk about stuff that I'm really confident and invest in stuff that I'm confident about. So yeah. Okay. Why do you think Impossible Foods has become so popular, but not actual lab grown meat? Cost. Lab grown meat is super dope on paper, except getting you a burger for under $100 that is actually grown in the lab, like cell by cell, is very difficult. And I think there's a big fallacy that, you know, the cow is actually an incredibly, as much as it's inefficient and we hate on it, the cow has actually been evolved for thousands of years to be this incredibly efficient way to turn plant protein into meat protein. And so it's going to be a long road for humans to replicate that just as efficiently, just tasting as well with a cheaper cost. And so I just think lab grown meat is super dope, but I really want to see a life cycle analysis of the emissions of that lab grown meat and the costs get there. It's just not there. Like, I think Memphis Meats is one of the leaders. I don't know. I'm about to Google this. Okay. I think they changed their name to Upside Foods, it looks like. And they're doing fried chicken now. The cultured chicken will be available to consumers this year pending regulatory approval. So Memphis Meats is always on the cusp of commercializing it, but not yet. But this is a thing I think a lot about. The food system needs to be hyper changed. We have huge opportunity to disrupt this space and to make, it's just a huge thing that's crushing the planet. And this is something I think so much about. I spent like my last real job that I had, or my only real job really ever, like, working for this startup and visiting all these farms and like meeting with farmers and seeing how, you know, factory farming cows are up to here in their own shit, and they're just living these horrible lives in these cages, like grouped up, and it smells horrible and they're in mud, and it's just it's like, you don't want to eat that, but that's what a McDonald's burger is. Versus some farms which are beautiful, which have this roaming pasture and a rotational grazing system where they have the crops and the manures fertilizing it. It's a beautiful harmony. It's actually, you know, not that carbon intensive, but it's like, wait, that's a lot more land intensive. And so the bottom line is we are at this really interesting inflection point in the food system where people are not pricing in negative externalities. There's so many climate change externalities to your McDonald's hamburger that are not priced in. And that's why it costs like $3. And that's why they're not changing it. Like, the game is messed up and the incentive system is messed up, and we're passing off. To me, it's like humanity's just swiping its credit card on climate change. And it's just like, yep, every time we get a burger and we're leaving $10 of like negative externalities in that burger price that we're not paying for, we're like putting it on credit at a super high interest rate. And this is just, you know, you throw your Starbucks cup away. Who gives a fuck? Where's it going? What's happening to it? We're just piling up Starbucks cups somewhere. Like, I hate the beverage industry, this system that we have. Like, White Claw. Like, look at this. Like, you're going to throw away your White Claw? Where does this go once we use it? Like, you know, like, I just think so anyway, I'm getting totally sidetracked, but the food system needs to change. And it's messed up, but it's like, honestly, I think the future of beef and animal protein and this thing will be a part of the food system, but it'll go from 90% to like 1%. It'll be super artisanal. There'll be huge taxes on it. You'll have to pay $800 a burger, but it'll be super dope and people will, and that'll be that industry. What is everyone else going to eat? I don't know, but that's what the planet needs. And so are we going to have like bioreactors of kind of Soylent-esque products that we're all eating? Maybe are we going to be able to have vertical farming grow us a lot more vegetables and people eat vegetables as a bigger part of their diet? Maybe that'll make us healthier. I think that's another big opportunity. And I just think, I don't know. So I'm a reducitarian, right? And I went to this thing called the Reducitarian Conference like 3 years ago. I think I made a video about it. It was so dope. And it was like this concept that we could all come together under this umbrella of reducing the carbon impact reducing the impact on the planet of our food, you know, choices. Whether that's, I'm an omnivore. I love cheeseburgers. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, I eat cheeseburgers sometimes, but like the Reducitarian's a place where I can get together with a vegan. And it's like, you got your way and I got my way, but we can both come together under this idea of trying to figure it out and not judging each other, instead of being like, you're on that vegan side, I'm on the vegetarian side, and I'm on the kind of eat a cheeseburger side, and like, let's all beef about it. It's like, nah, you know, let's impossible beef about it, or I don't even know, but let's just be friends and come together amongst this mission. So I think, you know, and me personally, it's like, I don't want fake chicken. Like, this whole concept that I want, and I was eating the Impossible sausage at the Starbucks, Impossible sausage, egg, and cheese or whatever, which is pretty fire. It was a really good sandwich. And, but after like 5 days in a row of eating it, I kind of felt weird after eating it. I felt like clogged up, and it was like, like this weird protein like, it's just really processed. And I also believe that Impossible Foods, might get me in some hot water, uses GMOs, which I think GMOs are dope. Like, they're a part of science, and there's actually, like, I think it's fine to eat GMOs, but the problem with GMOs is that GMOs are basically code for Monsanto. And the problem with that is Monsanto uses this system of monocrop farming and like extreme pesticides that you have to spray on everywhere that ruins everybody else's farms. And then we just have like corn growing everywhere and like soy growing everywhere. There's no genetic diversity. And so it's not that GMOs themselves are bad. It's just that just the companies that have GMOs are just pillaging the soil of all its nutrients, are ruining all our biodiversity, are spraying all of these pesticides that have huge negative externalities. And that's a really messed up system. And yet those are the inputs that are going into your impossible thing. I need to look into that more, but just that's another thing to keep in mind. So whether it's part of the impossible foods thing or not is, I don't know. So I think the food system is ripe for change. And this is actually like the more and more I think about this, this is like, I want to start a company in the food space. That's like the company I would start if I wasn't doing content or like, you know, my other, like if I was going to be a savage founder and build a product, it would be a, you know, be a farming company that builds new food. And I don't know, this idea I wrestle with constantly. Lawrence, when are the first 100 trucks delivered? Then how long do 100,000? I love this question about the Tesla semi truck. So this is a really good question, and I don't know how to answer it. I know Tesla keeps saying they're about to drop the semi truck, but then they keep not. I think it's going to start at the very end of this year, early next year, and then they're going to ramp up very slowly. And it all comes down to the 4680. This is why I've been nerding out about Tesla's 4680 battery. Is it in the Plaid? When are they going to actually deliver the first car with the 4680? That's the biggest sort of next catalyst of that part of the company and that vertical integration. And why do I always say that? Because it's like the semi trucks relying on that product, the Cybertruck's relying on that product. So it's very hard to know how fast they will scale the semi truck until we get more clarity on it's basically all the batteries. When is the 4680 work? And then when can they build enough of them to do Cybertrucks and semi trucks and Model Y? I just don't know. And if I was on, you know, so trying to figure that out is going to be the best way to get clues on the truck. How do you think Elon will keep his promise of allowing Tesla long-term investors to be the first in line to invest in Starlink? This is Nicholas. Amazing question. I think Elon doesn't know. He just wants to. Love that. First of all, I have a couple off the record ideas of how he could do it if he hits me up. Elon, you can hit me up. We can figure it out. But it's going to be messy. I mean, there's no easy way to do it. I actually think, and I believe so what can I say here? What can I not say? I'm pretty sure there's a conflict of interest where Tesla and SpaceX can't work together in a big way. And Elon knows that, and his lawyers are telling him that. And that's why I was telling him Tesla should buy Starlink. I'm like, dog, like Tesla's cost of capital is zero. Like, why don't we give Starlink $5 billion? That way Tesla owns Starlink. That's the way that Tesla investors, everyone automatically based on how much Tesla you own, gets that exact amount of exposure of Starlink, and Starlink gets the funding without diluting it and selling it to some moron. So to me, the biggest win-win is Tesla, which has this incredibly low cost of capital and has so much money, they're freaking buying Bitcoin. Like, let's give a bill to Starlink. And so Tesla's cash flow could single-handedly fund Starlink. Why is that not happening? I think there's some legal conflict of interest. So that is the way I would structure the deal, but I guess we can't do it like that. So what are you going to do? Are you going to go? Companies don't even know who their shareholders are. This is how messed up the system is, because it's all based on paper stock certificates. Your broker's not going to tell Tesla who even owns, you know. So I think this is a very hard problem, and it shows how messed up the stock market and financial system is that there isn't an easy way to do this. So I am going to be fascinated to see how Elon tries to integrate Tesla retail investors into Starlink, but he said this is something he wants to do. So I don't know. I think this is going to happen. Hey, Gally, Luke asked me, since you held Square stock in the past, would you reconsider buying back? Yes. I almost reconsidered buying back Square stock like today. Oh my God, what Jack Dorsey is doing to move Bitcoin forward, to build an ecosystem around Bitcoin, to do what he's doing with Cash App, like, oh my God, like Peloton, Spotify, Square, Airbnb. Like, I love these companies, but I like have no money. So I own Airbnb. I don't own the other ones, even though I love those companies. Like, I can't like stress this enough that like, I'm so picky. I love like 0.001% of companies in the whole world. And it's just like, I don't have enough money to invest in them all. But I think Square and Jack Dorsey is like, it's owner, operator, founder. It's changing the banking system. It's investing in the future you believe in, democratizing finance. It's tackling a multi-trillion-dollar industry with a $90 billion market cap. The CEO, you know, Jack Dorsey's young. He gets it. This Bitcoin thing, they're the fulcrum security that I think could increase adoption of Bitcoin and build a whole ecosystem around it. So I think Square, ooh, man, I get excited when I think about Square, and the FOMO is off the charts that I do not own Square stock, and I feel like Jack Dorsey's gonna be beefing with me because I don't own Square stock. So I don't know. Anyway, Yeah, and Luke with a bunch of good questions here about, do you agree that potential adoption of the Lightning Network and tighter integration between Square's main ecosystem, Seller, and Cash App could lead the business to much higher margins, less feed pays to third party, and much better control? Yes. I mean, Square, every time you swipe your credit card, you're paying 3% to all these BS banks who are not doing anything. If we can get a system to where Square can charge less but have a higher margin, I think that's where we're headed. The incentives are there. Yes. Sunny asks, how's the Hypership treating you? I want to do a whole video about that after my 1 year anniversary of my Tesla, because it's the best purchase I've ever made, like by far. And I just can't say how much I love my Tesla enough. Honestly, like it's so, I can't, like, I know it sounds lame, and if you're watching Hyperchange, you're probably like, oh, I already got a Tesla. I already know what's good with it. But like, dude, like some of my friends I know that are my age are not buying Teslas. They're buying like BMWs and like Porsches. And I'm like, oh, this is such a bad financial move because it's going to depreciate. You're literally supporting the oil industry complex who's, leveraging shitty labor to burn more fossil fuels to ship dinosaur juice halfway across the world so we can put it in our cars. And then we're just going to breathe in these emissions, and then it's going to pollute our cities. And it's like everybody has asthma, and it's like, dude, like, oh my God. Like, it's one thing if a boomer doesn't buy a Tesla, but when people my age don't buy a Tesla, then I'm like, I'm losing hope. Like, I'm losing hope. I'm like, damn, like, y'all don't get it? Like, okay, so whatever. I just, and it's like, but even whatever, the moral part aside, it's just a way better product. The moral part aside, the depreciation, okay, it's a better investment because it's going to depreciate less, and it's what is right to do with the planet, and set a good example for the best thing you can do for climate change is to buy a Tesla. People are going to give me so much hate for that, but I'm ready to die on that hill because that is just the facts. And I think people have so limited understanding of how the world works, how shit gets done, how we're just monkeys on a rock, causing fucking this rock up in so many different ways, causing all these problems. How do we actually get the technology to solve this? Like, we're in the era of hyperchange. If we don't move fast and do radical changes for how our society works, we're all going to die, and we're going to drive our planet into just this raging inferno. This is a huge, real problem. Tesla's actually has single-handedly, one dude, Elon Musk, by creating one company, has accelerated the adoption of electric vehicles, has manifested the fact that every other car company who said electric vehicles will never work, they're a fucking joke, it's not going to happen. Every journalist didn't see this shit coming, and Elon did, and changed the world and changed the trajectory of our emissions as monkeys on this rock. That is huge. That is going to be everything. And every time you buy a Tesla, what are they doing with that technology? Putting it into better batteries, coming up with the 4680 battery cell, coming up with a new way to mine lithium that is less carbon intensive, coming up with a way to create cars that drive safer than humans, coming up with a way to create trucks, semi-trucks, to get these crappy fossil fuel trucks off the road. Like, every Tesla has... It really is the biggest impact you can do for climate change is to support a company that is commercializing the technologies that we need to hyper change a certain industry. Tesla's doing that more than anyone else. And so, man, I don't even know how I got on this rant. Anyway, sup, Gally? Adrian, do you love my hyperchange dad hat? Do you have any plans to make more awesome merch? Yes. And you know me, like, I'm picky about my merch. Like, I'm not going to launch merch if I don't think it's artisanal and I don't think it's dope. And I don't want to launch another shitty product because what am I just talking about? Carbon emissions. Like, I want to launch a product that you're going to hold on to, that you're going to cherish, that you're going to use forever. And so my next t-shirt product is going to be like the special fabric that is less carbon intensive, that's super soft, and I'm designing it myself. And I think it's going to be super swag. And so I do have like a limited edition t-shirt drop in the works, and it's like of a special material. I don't want to say too much, but I'm hyped on it. So I'm scheming on that, but it's like, bro, like I'm on the board of directors of Arcimoto. I got to do all this stuff, HyperGuap, running a multi-million VC company. I'm trying to make content. I'm trying to make Tesla FSD videos. Like, I'm trying to do my own hobbies in life. And it's like, man, designing merch, like, I just want to so bad, but it's like, it's in terms of like the things that I'm doing that are important, like it's just kind of far down the list. But like, man, like my creative, like inner creative me, like has so many merch ideas, like so many, okay, but I'll get to them eventually. So I'm definitely scheming on more merch. That's the short answer. Who do you think will end up being the biggest competition for SpaceX long term? Probably Blue Origin, I would say, is the second closest, but not really anyone. Like, the biggest problem of competition of SpaceX is like governments beefing and Russia being like, and China being like China. That's who I would say is the biggest competition. And there's a space race going on, so that's really interesting. Oh, the moon wobble. Don't get me started on the moon wobble. This seems bad. Anyway, all right. That wraps up the HyperScheme. This was super fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below about just everything, Tesla FSD, all that stuff. Next week, I'll put another post on Patreon where y'all can submit more questions. If I didn't get to it, I'm sorry. Resubmit your question. I'll try and get to all of them. This is super fun. Have an epic Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, like, show Tesla some love. FSD is filchy. That's my last words. See y'all next time. Peace.